our own, perceptions, our own continuation of perception, which, protects our genes, which is what keeps us going, into the future. So, what in the heck? Why we probably wouldn't want something like that to happen. I'm supposing. So, what could we do? I mean, we don't want to necessarily get rid of this stuff because stuff's awesome. This stuff's what, computers, technology, and the like. I mean, it's given us a whole wonderful world. It's so much better than the old one, really. I mean, who wants to die when they're 30 of a rotten tooth and a couple of the diseases of just some really raunchy stuff, and never really be able to enjoy your life because you're basically a slave to nature, or you're a slave to other human beings if you're working on pyramids and such, or whatever, building stuff like that. And I mean, society's a lot better now. I think almost everybody would agree with that. Maybe some of the hunter-gatherer groups in the world don't have it that bad. Maybe if they're not in that cold of a climate, but not that hot of a climate, like you wouldn't probably want to be in the jungle because then you got all the parasites to worry about and the lack of available food sources, unless you're living in one with lots of fruits and vegetables and such, with lots of open prairie and such, or some deserty area. I don't know. So I'm thinking probably the savannah is the best place that people want to live, which is, I think, generally the case. We make our landscapes look like savannas, some trees out in the open, lots of grass not too high though. So, those are kind of the places that we like to live. And, if you're not living in one of those places with not too many people, to take out all the food, hunting and stuff, you probably aren't going to be that much. You're probably going to much rather like, the current civilization. And I think that's pretty much for everybody. I mean, some people might get depressed and such because of, all the things that our genes haven't caught up with, all the social things, like, not being the top of the food chain anymore, where maybe you were, or top of the social ladder. Maybe people were, 200 years ago and they're evolved to be there, and they're not anymore because things have changed. Or, just all the different things like, lighting and stuff like that, being around when you're, at midnight so you can get work done and such, not needing it, not having the option of sleeping because of work and stuff like that. All those things can make a big difference, I guess, in your enjoyment of life. But I mean, other than those things, pretty much we got an awful lot better. I don't think a lot of people would want to go back, but we also want to make sure that we don't have computers take us over, because that's kind of it defeats the purpose. It's all to preserve our perception or our subjective experience, whatever you want to call it, and then just to lose it. I don't think we want that. So we probably want to put some things in place to not have that happen. But something like it will probably happen. We'll probably have a singularity. Maybe we'll be able to have some power over it in deciding exactly what it will look like post that point. Some kind of chain still on our intelligence or our machines. But now this brings up an interesting point, though, for me at least. So I was thinking about when I was a kid, like, so if there is such a thing as extraterrestrial life, then why in the heck don't we get any kind of a feedback from them? Why no signals, no visitors from outer space, or at least that we know of? Why nothing like that? Well, I think it's because, just looking at our own evolution, look at 200 years ago, we probably could barely even fathom. Wasn't that what, 500 years ago that we thought we were living on a flat planet? 200 years ago, we probably weren't even sure that the distance of the sun away from us, or that the Earth rotated around the sun and all that kind of stuff. We probably thought the Earth was the center of the universe, and now all that's kind of changed and turned on its head, through science and such. And just a couple hundred years, and then probably won't even be 100 years from now, human beings will be so powerful that we'll be able to increase our intelligence at an exponential rate. Right now we're able to increase our technology at an exponential rate, but maybe we'll be able to use our technology, if once technology surpasses human intelligence, as long as those laws stay roughly the same, maybe human beings will be able to use the intelligence of our machines to supplement our own, and still human intelligence can increase at an exponential rate. So that point's not that far off, and when that happens, who knows what the next step is. And I'm thinking that most alien creatures, or most intelligent life form that's out there, when it gets to that point, you know, it probably doesn't even, it probably thinks, you know, the people from, like, we think of, you know, people 200 years, 500 years ago, basically, maybe as, you know, slime, you know, in their technological capacity. Like, you wouldn't worry about, you know, an invading Greek force or something like that anymore. With, you know, with one destroyer, you could take out the whole world's naval fleet 100 years ago or whatever. So, the same kind of a deal with, you know, 300, or with something, you know, the human race probably 30, 50 years from now will probably not have any fear of us today, and probably far less, because they'll probably do all sorts of other things, other kinds of evolutionary processes, you know, maybe even their own self-evolution through genetics and such. So, anyways, what am I getting to? Yeah, I'm getting to the fact that that's probably why we don't have a whole bunch of signals from outer space, because of the fact that when creatures get to our level of intelligence, they it's not that long, and they're way beyond anything that we can fathom. So now, what's important about that?